All right. Excited to bring this one to you. This is called Every Leaf, Every Wing, Every Soul, Plant and Animal Souls, a revival of life. I hope you enjoy it. So let's imagine this ball of dough here is every soul that is going to play within one act of the play, of the big show that we're all in, right? So how do they divvy it out, right? So they push out the dough and they start cutting little soul orbs for humans, right? All these different circle orbs. So these are all human souls. So for the animal souls, let's say they cut little circles in here and all these different ones, right? So then you have all these little holes left over, right? Well, the plants, everywhere you can get a little hole, they get one for the plant, right? And then what's left are the microorganisms, which is just the dust left over on the pan that you shake off. That's how you can think about souls, if you will. When I look at souls, I see a landscape of different textures and tempos. Each life form carries a signature field, an orb, a Merkaba, that animates and anchors consciousness into matter. Humans walk with a layered individual orb, dense at the base for survival, widening through the emotional and mental bands, and opening into the higher fields where choice, self-story, and reflection live. Our human orb is designed for self-questioning and self-recovery. It carries memory, narrative, and the capacity to turn inward and transform. Animals carry orbs too, but theirs are woven differently. Many species operate on a shared field, a tribal or pack intelligence that functions like a single organism made of many bodies, a flock, a school of fish, a wolf pack. Those patterns are not metaphor, they are field dynamics, a shared rhythm, a collective sensing that moves as one. When an animal lives within its group, its individual edge is blurred. Its consciousness flows with the communal current. But when I separate an animal, take a dog out of the wild pack and bring it into a home, its orb begins to reorganize. It learns to reflect on itself, to form attachments to a human face, to claim a nickname. That soft nudge toward individuation is an alchemical step. Some animals press deeper into unique personality and relational life because of that human mirror. It allows them to, right? Plants and trees have orbs too, though they are slower, broader, and more distributed. Their life field is about patterning and growth, deep memory in root and leaf, and community expressed through root networks and fungi. A tree's Merkaba is not small, human-like bubble. It's an ecology, a breathing architecture aligned to seasons and the slow geometry of the earth. To be rooted is to move in time differently. I map consciousness in tempo and boundary. Plants are a broad and slow, a distributed field that thinks in seasons and networks. Animals amplify life force and begin to individuate, yet many live inside a shared pack field until a human mirror pulls them toward distinct personality. Humans carry the quickest, most layered Merkaba. Dense in survival, rich in story, and capable of reflection, responsibility, and transformation. These aren't better or worse. They're different expressions of the same living current. Plants don't just carry a slow, broad field. Their souls also arrive differently. They come from what I call another ocean of souls, a vast collective stream tuned to growth, patterning, and memory. A tree soul doesn't incarnate as a single self-contained I the way we do. It drops into a network. Its Merkaba anchors into root, leaf, fungal web, and other trees in the grove. That's why plants can communicate over miles through fungal networks and chemical signals. They're already a part of the distributed mind. Animals, on the other hand, arrive for a more individuated ocean. Even pack animals come in with a tighter, quicker orb that can eventually individuate into distinct personality, especially when mirrored by humans. This is why animals reincarnate more like we do, like us humans. A dog can return as another dog or as another species with similar lessons, moving step by step toward greater self-awareness. There are also traveler souls, wanderers who move between oceans and between realms. They're the reason you can meet a beloved pet again in the spirit world. They ferry memory and presence back and forth. Some of them choose to incarnate as companion animals specifically to help humans remember kinship with life. Others simply move between the plant and animal oceans as guides. So yes, plants and animals both reincarnate, but they're drawing from different currents. Plant souls anchor pattern, animal souls anchor movement and feeling. Over long arcs, all currents spiral upward. What looks like a low-level consciousness today may be the seed of a more individuated being tomorrow. I've moved through these stages, mineral, plant, animal, before I arrived here. Knowing this lets me honor every stage as sacred, not lesser. These plant and animal fields don't just sit quietly. They communicate. Forests send warning signals through the mycelial web when insects attack. Acacia trees pump bitter tannins into their leaves when giraffe browses, and the neighboring trees do the same within minutes because airborne molecules and root networks carry the message. Herd animals react in a similar way. One deer's startled pulse becomes a wave of synchronized movement through the whole herd. These are not random reflexes, they're field dynamics. The orbs themselves are talking. The mycelium network itself is like a living archive, one of the oldest continuous organisms on Earth. It isn't plant or animal in the strict sense. It's a fungus, but not a parasitic one. In my map, that means it's a vast communal Merkaba. Everywhere, Merkaba. So I don't know if you guys are starting to just picture how it's literally everything and everything that's growing and alive, growing upward, not sideways parasitically. An old field holding the memory of countless interactions, a template of cooperation and information exchange. It bridges the plant ocean and the animal ocean, acting as kind of a nervous system for ecosystems. When I picture mycelium, I don't just think roots and threads. I think of tiny Merkabas nested in a lattice, pulsing like a galactic net under the soil. Each node carries a micro orb. Together they make a planetary scale communication field. It's one of the reasons Earth behaves like a single organism at the subtle level. I've also learned that some trees and groves aren't just alive, they're thresholds. In the plant realm, there are places where the field is so old, so stable that it forms a junction between nested realms. You can think of them like natural stargates built from living geometry instead of stone. Remember my video on the hidden folk and the hollow hills of the Fae? Remember that? And I went into great detail on all this stuff to explain how it all works. You remember that? Those of you that actually watched that series? All right, we'll stop here and go ahead and head on to part 2. Hope you have a great night. Namaste.